This is Forza Horizon 5. Yes, we are back with a build series. I haven't done one of these for a long time. I used to do these on Forza Horizon 3, Forza Horizon 4, but it's been a long time. But now I decided I wanted to give this a shot again on Forza Horizon 5. So we're going to be doing kind of a rally car build series. So the rules for this series are that all cars will be built to S1 850 Pi, so midway through S1 class. That's just to give more cars a chance. You know, I could have gone top end of S1 class, but a lot of cars wouldn't get to that. If I just went top of A class, that would rule out a lot of higher end cars. So I decided to go S1 850. And the main rules are, that, and also that they must be fitted with rally suspension, rally tires, like dirt off-road tires, the biggest tires you can get on there as well. And basically all Forza Aero if it is available. And then just power, handling. We don't want to make them too crazy, but I'm sure some cars will be pretty crazy. But this is the first car that we've got for this series. It is the 1969 Chevrolet Camaro Super Sport Coupe. I've engine swapped this to an 8.4 litre V10. By the way, another rule is that all cars will be run with all-wheel drive drivetrains, just to make it more fair. You know, if we had front-wheel drive cars, rear-wheel drive cars, wouldn't make it as fair, so all cars will be all-wheel drive. This car now has 966 horsepower, 906 foot-pound of torque. It weighs 3,086 pounds, so bit of a heavy car, of course, being an old American muscle car, but it is twin turbocharged. It has, I believe, like a 10-speed transmission. I can't quite remember. There was a lot of transmissions that I had to choose from. I can't actually remember in the end if I did go for the 10 or if I went with something else, but it's pretty insane. So let's see how this 1969 Chevy Camaro does on our rally course. Right, this is our circuit. It is the Moulege Town Scramble, I believe it is called. And this is the circuit. So our first run here will, of course, be from a stand start. So we won't necessarily get an amazing time from this, but it's just an idea at the track. So a bit of on-road to start with, but then we get into this rally off-road section. I'm actually just going to turn my audio down a little bit because it is very loud in my ears. But this is now the off-road section. Now I will be driving from this view, not from cockpit view. I know I used to drive in cockpit view, but I don't know, I think I prefer driving like this on this game now, and it also means you get to look at the car instead of just looking at the cockpit, so I think that works better. But yeah, this is the off-road section, very undulating. Then we come back onto the road. There's actually probably more on-road than there is off-road here. But to be fair, rally is sometimes on roads. You know, it is a bit of on-road, bit of off-road, so I don't mind that. Now, I'm going to be trying my hardest not to cut corners if possible on this one. Sometimes you can cut corners a little bit, depending on where the checkpoint sits. I'm going to try and stick to the paths as much as I can. I think one exception here is that the line literally tells me to kind of cut there, so we will do that. And we will get onto our first flying lap here. I think I'm going to do maybe 5 laps. This bit here is one of those examples where I'm going to try and stick to the road like that if I can. I don't want to cut that one too much. Into the first corner here. This car's actually very stable. My kind of first build series I did on Forza Horizon 3, similar to this, it was like the cross-country car builds. And those cars were absolutely insane though, because I just maxed them out. Whereas here, yeah, a little bit more, you know, normal cars. Although, I mean, the amount of backfiring this thing does is ridiculous. Like every time you let off the throttle even slightly, it backfires like crazy. So let's get past that dirt section. This car is, though, really dealing with this very well. The gears are so short. It's kind of insane. I'm pretty sure this is the 10-speed gearbox. I think I tried like a normal transmission or like an 8-speed or something, but the top speed was just nowhere. Like it had crazy acceleration, but no top speed. Now this track really doesn't need much top speed, to be fair, but seemed a little bit ridiculous, so that's why I went with this one. Now our first flying time is going to be a 1:12.9, I believe that was. It's kind of difficult for me to see that while we're flying along here, but that is our first flying lap. As we continue on here, this car is pretty nice to drive, all things considered. It is very, very nice, very good on the on the tarmac stuff struggles a little bit more with the dirt stuff. I will be honest, we will follow this path as it's told there. So I don't really count that as corner cutting. I mean, if we do it with all the cars, it's not really an issue, is it? Now, we end up getting way too wide over that corner there, which I don't love. It would be nice to get that a little bit better, as we're now back onto the tarmac section, getting the power down through the town here. Probably the quickest part of the track right there. Then you've got to get turned for this bit, a little bit of a jump there, try and take as much speed as we can. Very nice, this long left-hander. There are some very difficult corners on this track. It's definitely not an easy track as we come around the final corner for our second flying lap. Very wide out of the corner, but I think this should be a bit of an improvement. A 1:12.3, I believe that was just there, so a little bit of an improvement there. We can go later on the brakes into turn 1. I need to remember that for my next lap. We might actually do, I think we'll do 6 laps, because that will be 5 flying laps, since the first lap, you know, from a standstill is not a flying lap. So I reckon we'll make it 6 laps total. We head through here, we will take the line that it asks for right there, and then up this bit, very undulating part of the track. This one, then we get the jump here, not a massive jump. We actually managed to get that one stopped and turned for the corner a lot better. Could maybe go quicker through there. Don't know if we quite need to brake, but we'll see how that goes in the future. We're running a little bit wide there, just about managed to keep it out of the wall. Hugged a tighter line through there, and then this very, very tight section there over that little jump around the next long left-hander. This car is very nice, but the backfiring is absolutely ridiculous on this thing. Round the final corner, carried a bit more speed into it this time. This should be a better lap time. 1:11.4. Alright, 2 more laps to go here. Let's go later on the brakes into turn 1. That was better. That was nice and late into turn 1 there. Got some good time through that one. Through this first chicane section, there are a lot of kind of chicanes on this circuit, which really does test the cars, you know, just getting the line right through those. Now this bit here, kind of a jump there, another jump here, the most undulating part of the track over this next bit. Oh, we do actually get more airtime this time, which throws us quite a bit further over. Let's try and go pretty much flat through there. That works out. I reckon we can do that from now on. And then on to the tarmac section. Reckon we're looking better this time. We've thrown the car around a little bit more, but it has worked out into the very tight chicane on the tarmac, out of the little town, through the long left-hander, a little bit too wide coming into that one. But once again, there should be another improvement, I think, on lap time as we head onto our final lap of this one. It is a 1:10.5 so far. Let's see if we can do any better on our final lap here in the Camaro Supersport Coupe. Here we go. Have to absolutely nail these first few corners onto the dirt section. Big bump as we do, getting onto that bit there, around this section, over the section that the car hates the most, and what most cars I think are going to struggle with the most here. Over the jump, not as much airtime that time around. So we now head through here, flat through there, throw the car through that corner, round onto the tarmac section, get the power down as early as we can. I'm also having to get used to talking while I'm recording, because I've not done that for a long time. You know, the F1 videos I've been doing lately, not commentating while I'm racing on those ones, so this is definitely something to get used to. Also using a controller, because I'm not using a wheel for this, and I'm used to using a wheel very much lately with my driving. As we head around the final corner for the final time, bit too tight probably around that corner, but I think it will be an improvement, and it is. It's a 1:10.303 for the Camaro, as it absolutely backfires like crazy over the line. And that is our first car done and across the line for this rally car build series. It is a 1:10.303 for the 1969 Chevrolet Camaro Super Sports Coupe. That is the time that our next cars have to beat. It is the benchmark time. Let me know down below what cars you would like me to do in this series. Anything that can get up to S1 850 Pi, or even just as long as it can get pretty close to that. I might do some cars that don't quite get to that limit, but you know, if it can at least get into S1 pretty close to 850, that will be the target. But anyway, that's going to be it for this video, guys. Thank you very much for watching. If you enjoyed, please go ahead, like and subscribe, and I'll see you guys in the next video.